Hi, my name is Shawn Good, and I'm an attorney at the Good Law Group located in Palatine, Illinois. Today I'm going to talk to you about the function report, also known as the Form 3373. This is a video of broad application for people applying for Social Security benefits because if you're approved at application, reconsideration, hearing, the Appeals Council, Federal District Court, and remanded back, you are going to fill out at least one of these function reports. So I'm going to highlight some of the more important questions and why they're asked, and give you some tips for answering this report. So this report is initially given after you apply. So whether you apply online, in person, by phone, or by paper mail, eventually during the application process, Social Security is going to mail you this form. So I'm just going to walk through some of the questions and explain why they're asked. So the first question I want to talk to you about is where it says, how does your illness or injuries or condition limit your ability to work? This is really saying, why are you disabled? Why are you filing for benefits? So keep in mind that all jobs require certain things, physically and mentally. So in the physical realm, you have like sitting, walking, standing, lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling, handling, fingering, and feeling. Those are some of the physical demands. And on the mental side, it's concentrations, persistence, pace, getting along with others. So you need to explain how those things affect, how your injuries affect those things. Pretty straightforward. Another question they ask is, describe what you do from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed. They're looking to know what you do around the house. I mean, if you're someone who's active, you're going out, you're playing tennis, you're grocery shopping, you're taking care of your family, you're cutting the grass, they're looking to figure that out, because if you can do these things, why can't you work? So that's question 6. Question 7 on here is, do you take care of anyone else? Wife, husband, children, grandchildren, parents, friends, and others. Well, again, they want to know if you can take care of other people, why can't you take care of other people for a living, like working at a retirement home? It's not necessarily about you doing your past job, it's can you really do any job? So if you're revealing this information that you can work, then you're going to hurt your case. You know, tell the truth though, because they're going to read about this stuff in your medical records. So when you go to your doctor, you're going to tell your doctor, oh, you know, I got a busy life at home, I got pets, family, I take care of everybody. You know, if you tell Social Security one thing and then you report another to your doctor, it's not going to look good for your case. So, you know, be consistent, tell the truth, and understand why these questions are being asked. Question 8, do you take care of pets and animals? You know, animals are demanding. If you can take care of a pet, why can't you work? That's why they're asking this question. Number 9, does anyone help you take care of people or animals? Well, if you got a dog at home, but you don't take care of it, explain why. 10, what were you able to do before that you can no longer do because of your conditions that you, So what's changed? They want to know, you know, what your hobbies were before, what your hobbies are today, why you can or can't do them. Number 12, which was a section marked A, B, and C, they ask about your personal care. And there's some check boxes as well here. They ask to explain how your illness, injuries, or conditions affect your ability to dress, bathe, care for your hair, shave, feed yourself, use the toilet. You know, some of my clients, for example, don't shower as often as they used to. It's hard for them to change their clothes. It's hard for them to get in and out of the shower. These are things that are important because it explains, you know, if you can't shower, how are you going to get to work? So again, you know, explain these things to your doctors also. If you can't do these things, your doctor should know about it. It should be in your medical notes. And what your notes say for your doctor should match up with what's said here in your adult function report. B asks if you have any special reminders for your personal needs. You know, some people with mental illness don't take care of themselves. They need reminders from family. This is where you put those. Maybe you need a reminder to take your medicine. That's C. A lot of my clients set reminders on their phones, alarms, so they don't miss their medicine. Number 13, do you prepare your own meals? If yes, what kind of food do you prepare? Sandwiches, frozen dinners, complete meals with several courses. You know, if you're doing these things where you're making these big dinners for a lot of people, you're hosting people, it sort of reflects poorly on you if you're trying to seek disability. How can you cook but you can't work? A lot of my clients, either people cook for them or they're doing frozen dinners only because they can't stand at the stove, they can't stand and wait at the microwave, they can't stand at the oven, they can't bend down for the oven, they can't clean their dishes. This is where you explain these things, because if you're having trouble doing these things, it explains why, or it can relate to your inability to work. They ask how long it takes and has there been any changes. I think these are self-explanatory. Maybe you used to be a big cook. Now you can't cook at all. Maybe you do cook a sandwich, but it takes you do it as fast as you can. You cut the bread, you put mayonnaise, you put some meat, some cheese, and that's it. You walk away. Paper plate. So explain these things. If you can't prepare your own meal, explain why not. That's B of under 13. Section 14 is about house and yard work. They ask you to list the chores you do indoors and outdoors. Most of my clients can't do these things, like cleaning, laundry, household repairs, ironing, and mowing. Maybe you used to do them, but you can't do them now. Explain why you can't do them now. This doesn't ask what you can do before. A lot of people misanswer this question. They think, oh, I can do all this stuff. They're really asking what you can do now. Because if you could mow the lawn, why can't you work a job sitting behind a desk? They ask how long it takes you to do these things. Maybe you do some of these things because you can't, there's nobody to do it for you. You got to do your laundry. Maybe you leave it you put it in the washer, you leave it in the dryer, and you pick clothes out of the dryer. Explain it here. They ask, do you need encouragement or help? Maybe you need help. Explain it here. If you don't do house or yard work, explain why not. So explain why you have trouble sitting, walking, lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling, doing the physical activities that relate to housework, but it also explains how they relate to your jobs or possibility of jobs. Section 15, they ask about getting around, and this is really traveling. So how often do you go outside? A lot of my clients don't leave the house. It's hard for them to get off the couch, or they spend a lot of day either in the couch, in their bed, and walking around the house. Maybe sometimes they sit outside. We're in the Chicago area, so you're not sitting outside in the winter. They ask in 15B, when you go out, how do you travel? Do you walk, drive a car, ride in a car, ride a bike, use public transit or other? Again, these things sort of relate to your ability to work, so it's important that you explain these things, why you drive, why you don't drive. Shopping, number 16, if you do any shopping, do you shop in stores, by phone, by mail, or by computer? Describe what you shop for, how often you do these things. Again, a lot of my clients can't shop in stores. They can't walk around, they can't push the cart, or they have terrible anxiety and they run out of the store when they're having a panic attack. So explain that here. Money, 17, are you able to pay bills, count change, handle savings account, handle checkbook or money order? Explain all no answers. They want to know what you can't do. So if you have a mental impairment and you can't count change, well, that eliminates jobs that involve counting. If you can't handle money because you're impulsive, you have bad spending habits, explain it here. And often it's best to have a family member or friend maybe help you with this, because these are complicated questions for some people, especially for those with mental impairments. 18 is about hobbies and interests. What do you do? And they give examples: reading, watching TV, sewing, playing sports. If you can play sports, I have a hard time believing that you are going to be able to convince a judge that you are disabled. There are exceptions to that, and they do ask, how often and how well do you do these things? Just because you swim doesn't mean you're not disabled. Swimming is very therapeutic when you're trying to recover from a back injury. So you can explain you're at the gym, you're doing your physical therapy exercises, or you're at physical therapy doing the exercise they give you. Social activities, number 19, do you spend times with others, whether it's in person, on the phone, or on the computer? Explain these things, right? A lot of my clients, they used to be very social, now they can't get out of the house, so they talk on the phone. Explain why you can't get out of the house. Explain what you do now, and kind of focus on your limitations, because they're going to try to look at this and say, okay, if you could do this, why can't you do this at work? 19B, list the places you go on a regular basis. for example, church, community center, sports event, social group. And it asked, are you reminded to go these places? How often and how long do you go? And do you need someone to accompany you? A lot of my clients that go to church, for example, they used to go to church for longer, or they go more often, or they now can't do the sitting and standing required or at church. So keep your real life examples in mind, because they relate to how you can or can't work. Section D is information about your abilities. It asks, check any of the following items that your illness or injuries can affect: squatting, bending, standing, reaching, walking, sitting, kneeling, talking, hearing, stair climbing, seeing, memory, completing tasks, concentration, understanding, following instruction, using your hands, and getting along with others. These are even more of the job functions that I talked to you about a few minutes ago. So explain this. I'm going to skip over a couple questions here. You can explain why you're left or right, that you are or aren't left or right-handed. You'll understand why. If you have a left arm injury and you're right-handed, why does that affect your ability to work? Social Security knows that jobs require both hand use primarily, but having a total left arm injury but still having used your left hand a little bit and being right-handed isn't that big of a deal. It's not going to prevent you from working completely. They ask about how well you take spoken instructions. Some people with memory impairments, if they've had strokes, they don't take instructions well. They forget things. They forget what they're doing. They lose track of things. They forget where they are in some cases. So again, these are important. H asks about how you get along with authority figures. Some people with anxiety don't get along with authority figures, whether it's police, their boss, their landlord, or their teachers. Explain that here. Have you ever been fired or laid off because of these problems? If yes, explain it. Look, if you keep getting fired because you're getting in altercations with your boss or you're having misunderstandings with your coworkers, this is the place to explain it. Because if you can't keep a job based on a mental impairment, then this is the place to sort of argue that is part of your disability. The rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. I thank you for watching the video. If you'd like a complimentary case evaluation, you can contact us at thegoodlawgroup.com. You can reach out to us by phone at 847-558-1894. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thanks.